Welcome to another episode of The Brand Called You, a podcast and podcast show that brings you leadership lessons, knowledge, experience, and wisdom from thousands of successful individuals from around the world. I'm your host, Ashutosh Garg, and today I'm delighted to welcome a very senior professional and an author with a deep understanding of money and finance from Florida, USA, Mr. Harland Merriam. Harland, welcome to the show.
Good to be here with you. Look
Thank you.
forward to visiting
Thank
with you and sharing with others.
Thank you. Harland is an author of a book titled Profit Seeks Purpose: How to Make Money Without Losing Your Soul. And he's also a pastor, a coach, a real estate investor, and a trusted guide for entrepreneurs. So, Harland, before we get to your book, tell me a little bit about your own journey and what was the inspiration to write your book?
Well, the inspiration to write the book was about a year ago. A mastermind of very successful entrepreneurs here in Florida that we meet every week. In fact, we were meeting this morning.
Hmm.
A year ago, we met in person, and I'm riding home on the commuter train and saying, I wish other people could experience what we're experiencing.
Hmm.
How can I do that? And the book came to mind. It took a year, and here we are.
Wonderful, wonderful. Uh, the title itself suggests a tension between profit and purpose. Why do you think so many leaders struggle with this balance?
I think profit is relatively easy and we can measure it. And most of us are headed toward that. Whatever profit means success in our business,
Hmm.
making money, doing well. I'm a university chaplain these days, graduating from school. It means those kind of things. And those we can measure. Purpose is a deeper question. It's a bigger reality. And it's harder, I think, than just pursuing profit. I think
Hmm.
it's more important. They're both important. They're not against each other,
Hmm.
but purpose is a much more solid foundation for building life than just profit.
Absolutely. Very well said. You describe your book as a modern business fable. Why did you choose storytelling rather than a traditional business book?
I wanted the reader not to come in and I'm going to look for 3 points how to do this. I wanted them to walk alongside the characters in the book and perhaps see themselves in those characters and
Hmm.
ask the kind of questions that they're asking and consider doing some of the things that they're doing.
Hmm.
I think story is a better medium for that than here's a business book of the one, two, threes, how to do it.
Hmm. Interesting. In your view, what is the biggest misconception about success in business today?
Hmm. I think the biggest misconception, there are two. One, I'm a Christian minister in that tradition. There are an awful lot of people that think that making money and success and wealth are not good things. It seems like sometimes our scriptures tell us, beware of that. So that's a misconception, I think, that many of us have. The other is that we believe that success or money is going to answer all the questions.
Hmm.
It doesn't. Uh, I really think success asks, ultimately leads to a point of asking deeper questions.
Hmm. Hmm. Interesting. How did you begin by asking a deep question such as, why do I do what I do? Why are such questions often avoided by business leaders? And give me an example or an anecdote from your book on this particular question.
Yeah. Yeah, the book actually starts this way. Caleb, the main character, very successful real estate investor, closes on the biggest deal he's ever done, a dream deal.
Hmm.
He wakes up the next morning and for some reason he's not celebrating. He feels flat and he asks questions like, what now?
Hmm.
Is this all there is? And ultimately he comes to a question, who now? Who am I becoming? Who have I become?
Hmm.
For him, and it's a fable, it's fiction, but it's so real. The people I've walked with
Yeah.
through the years, many of them ask the same questions
Hmm.
eventually.
Yeah, absolutely. And there doesn't seem to be a very clear answer that most people have. Hopefully, from your book, some of the answers will emerge. One powerful idea in your book is the triple bottom line of
Mhm,
profit, people, and purpose.
mhm,
Why
mhm.
is this uh, why is this framework so important today?
Yeah, and that people right in the middle there is probably the key. I've raised the question with the title Prophet Seeks Purpose.
Hmm.
And in the story, and this isn't the way everybody does it, but in the story, the character realizes it's his relationship with the people, his business partners, his investors, the people on his team, even the residents in his apartments, even his wife and his daughter are what's really important. And they bring him
Hmm.
toward that purpose for his life, the relationships he has, the conversations he has, getting to know people.
Hmm.
So I really think people is that key connector between profit and purpose.
Hmm. Hmm. Can a business genuinely pursue both impact and financial success at the same time? And if yes, give me an example.
Oh, yes, definitely yes. Not easy, not always sought, but yes. I think about the seven other men and women in the mastermind that I facilitate. Each of them is doing that very successful, amazingly so.
Hmm.
Yet they're trying to do it in a way that is the success is not just for them personally, but it is touching others.
Hmm.
It's providing a need. It's serving other people out there in their
Hmm.
community, in their world. I know of businesses all over the world that have really taken this on.
Hmm.
I was talking with a multifamily operator this week, and he's actually run the numbers. He said, most of us think if we'll just raise the rents, we can get a better bottom line, a better return on investment. I've discovered if I'll take care of my residents and
Hmm.
stay longer, then my bottom line grows because I'm not spending all this money on turnover. If he'll
Hmm.
just take care of his residents, and he's
Hmm.
discovered that helps his return on investment. Amazing.
Yeah, I agree. Very interesting. What happens to a leader when profit becomes the only measure of success?
I've I've walked along people that it's destroyed their life,
Hmm.
destroyed their marriage, their relationship with their kids. They thought the profit they were making, the new house they got, the boat they got, the nice car they're driving would bring them happiness. And then they find out it doesn't. It doesn't satisfy. And it really destroys relationships in themselves.
Hmm.
Um, if the question is profit's not a bad thing.
Yeah, yeah.
It's
Profit's not bad at
important.
all. I agree.
We've got to feed our families. We've got to put roofs over our heads.
Yeah.
We've got to be able to produce that product, and if we don't make a profit on it, we can't producing it to keep producing it. But it's not the end in itself.
Correct.
Yeah.
Correct. Correct. I've spoken to many, many people, and this happened with me also. When you're much younger, I was working 18 hours a day and so on. And when my wife asked me, you've got young kids, why are you doing so much? And I made the mistake of saying, I'm doing it all for all of you. And the response I said, no, you're not doing it for us, you're doing it for yourself.
Yeah. Yeah.
And that's a very, very powerful message I received, and I've seen many men get a similar message.
Yeah. As I work with students now, these are 18, 19, 20-year olds in college
Mm,
right now. And I, I look, I look with them, talk with them, listen to them, and am eager to help them see that there's more than just going out and making money.
mm,
There's fulfillment that you get in what you
yeah,
do. Yeah.
absolutely. Absolutely. Harlan, why do you believe so many successful leaders feel isolated in spite of all their achievements?
I think it's a classic sense. The generals I worked with in the military,
Mm,
right at the top, total success, made 2 stars general. They're the loneliest person in the unit.
yeah.
They don't have people to talk to. They have such responsibility.
Mm,
It's a very lonely place to be the top of a pyramid, if you will, in that. I remember General would come to me as the chaplain in the unit and say, "Can we go play golf?" And he wasn't so much concerned about golf, although he enjoyed it. He wanted to have an honest, real conversation.
Conversation. Yeah.
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 Yeah. Absolutely.
That's what I love about the mastermind concept, the gathering other peers and creating a safe space where we can tell the truth and hear the truth and be challenged and be
Mm,
supported.
mm,
So
mm.
important.
Yeah, you're so right. I mean, I'm part of an organization called the YPO, and within that we have forums, and they're exactly the same as Mastermind. You can talk to someone in confidence.
Yes.
Uh,
So important. Yeah.
Absolutely. Moving on, Harland, what practical steps can leaders take to move from success to significance?
I think there are two. The first one is to pause,
Mm,
to take a moment to breathe, to allow that question to come. It's an invitation to go deeper.
mm,
Until they do that, whatever else they do probably isn't going to work. They've just
yeah.
got to get in touch with themselves. Second is I'm really sold on masterminds or circles or groups of people that you
Mm,
trust and trust you and you can be in like yours. And that would be, I'd say, seek out that, find that. I was talking with somebody up in Connecticut this week, and they did that. They reached out to two people that didn't know each other, knew him, and said, "Could we meet once a month and just be there for each other?" And he
yeah,
says, "It's such a powerful thing just to have somebody that'll be there for me and I can be there for them."
absolutely. Absolutely. Faith and spirituality appear in your story through
Mhm.
conversations and reflections.
Hmm.
Why was it so important for you to include this dimension in a book that talks about money and profit?
Good question. I'll come at it in two ways with this one too. One is for me personally. I'm a person
Mm.
of faith. I think
Yeah.
it's really important. I live it. I struggle with it. I question it, all those kind of things. But I just think faith is an important part of life.
Mm.
Intellect's an important part of life. My relationships are, my emotions are, but my body is. But faith is something that's important to me personally. I
Yeah.
also see it that for other people, even if they don't see it yet, the main character in this book doesn't see it at beginning. Uh, if you'll be open to a those kind of conversations about values, about
Mm.
aspirations,
Mm.
about something that's bigger than you, um, they really can add I'll use that word depth again. They can add a depth to your life, into
Mm.
your relationships, into
Mm.
the work that you do, your family life, everything.
Mm. Amazing. How do personal beliefs influence ethical decision making in business?
Coming back to values there,
Mm.
people who don't have a clear definition of what is important, what is valuable, what is true, what is good, have a harder time uh, making decisions, following through on them, having integrity in their life. So
Mm.
gaining that more solid foundation, clarity. Here's what I believe. Here's what
Mm.
is important. Here is what I value.
Mm.
Now I'm guided by that as
Mm.
I'm confronted with difficult decisions, and I'll be able to make them and follow
Yeah.
through on them.
Yeah. Yeah. Well said.
Yes.
What role does humility play in becoming a better leader?
Oh, about 20 years ago, I realized that, and I started adding this phrase to my conversations with people. I could be wrong about that.
Yeah. Yeah.
It really has been helpful for me personally. I believe I'm right about a lot of things, but just to be humble enough to say, I could be wrong. I was sitting with a couple of Hindus, some Jewish friends, some Christian friends, some atheists last night in a circle on the campus. And each of us just being humble enough to say, I could learn from you
Mm.
was a powerful conversation we had on the campus.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
That's humility. I'm open
Absolutely.
to learning.
And
I'm
a big
open to
thing linked with humility is one's ego, isn't it?
Yes. Definitely. And pride may be in there.
And pride. And
Yeah.
pride and as it's called, the I disease,
Yes.
I as the alphabet I, not EYE.
Yes. Yes.
But coming back to you, Harlan, what questions should every entrepreneur ask themselves about their work and their life?
That one we raised earlier, who am I becoming
Mm,
as I live my life, as I am in my family, as I'm in this community? Who am I becoming? I think that's an
mm,
important question. We are, we're called human beings, but we're really human becomers.
mm,
Who am I becoming? And I've changed many times, hopefully for the better over the course of my life. So that's one. Who am I serving?
mm,
Am I just serving myself? Is it all just about me? Is it that I problem we have? Is it all just about me, or who am I serving?
yeah,
Most of us as entrepreneurs running a business, educators, we're really providing a service to people,
correct.
a certain product, whatever. Who am
Mm,
I serving to know that? And then probably the bigger one there, it's that old question, why? Why am I doing this?
mm,
That's back to that
yeah,
profit
yeah,
seeking purpose. Why am I doing
absolutely.
this? Yeah.
Very interesting. Time for two more questions for you. How can organizations create cultures that care about people and not just about performance?
Whew, the book struggles with that. Caleb struggles with that.
Mm,
How can corporations encourage that? How can businesses, small businesses even
mm,
encourage that?
mm,
Probably back to that slow down and notice. Notice the people in your corporation, in your business, in
mm,
your part of that business. Pay attention to them, get to know them.
mm,
Um, Pay attention to your customers as people with names, with with needs, with wants, with
mm.
hurts. Pay attention to them. And then I think modeling it from the top is always so appropriate to model that CEO, that manager really caring, genuinely caring about the
Mm,
people that they're with.
mm.
That will help their people care about the people they're with
Well
in a
said. Yeah,
organization.
yeah,
Yeah.
amazing. And my last question for you, Harlan. If a business leader reading your book wants to begin aligning profit with purpose, where should they start?
Hmm. Where should they start? I'll go back. They got to start on their insides. They've got to look at themselves and say, is that important for me? And when they decide it's important for me, to how can I get support in doing that from
Mm,
others, peers, from friends, from
mm,
colleagues?
mm,
And then I think it's really just small steps, just as the character in the book. He just takes small steps, and each one leads him to some new realization in his
mm,
life.
mm.
Take some small steps. It might be like that friend in Connecticut. I'm going to call two people I know and say, can we get together
Yeah.
and be there for each other? Maybe it's
Mm.
that small step.
Fascinating. And on that note, Harlan, I just want to say what a fascinating conversation this has been. I mean, it's almost a lot of your answers are almost philosophical about life.
Hmm.
And yet you were able to weave in this whole concept of profit, which is not a dirty word at all. And there is a purpose, a much larger purpose than just profit as we build our lives and support our families.
Yes.
Thank you for your thoughts on your book. Thank you for speaking to me, and good luck to you.
Yes. All the best to you and everybody that's listening. All
Thank
the
you.
best.
Thank you.
Bye-bye.
Thank you for listening to the Brand Called You videocast and podcast, a platform that brings you knowledge, experience, and wisdom of hundreds of successful individuals from around the world. Do visit our website www.tbcy.in to watch and listen to the stories of many more individuals. You can also follow us on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter. Just search for the brand called You.